everyone, I am doing a VR to Miss Kelly Bear, top 5 decks I can't live without. And I gotta say, I almost did not do this VR because I was having such a tough time deciding. Such a tough time. I was changing my mind every other minute. So I almost said, you know what, forget it, because I'm being too indecisive. This is too hard. But then what I ended up doing was I tried to narrow my collection down to the decks I couldn't decide among, which is pretty much the majority of my collection because I don't have all that many decks, or at least I don't think. So I took those decks, laid them out on the table, took them out of their boxes and their bags, laid them all out, walked away, took a break, spent some time doing other things, just taking my mind off it, came back, put my phone timer onto 20 seconds and said, Julie, the fucking house is burning down, go. 5, only 5, go. So that's how I picked. If you're thinking of doing this VR and you're having the same trouble I am, might I suggest this strategy? It's very interesting. I'm kind of surprised by a couple of my choices. But yeah, I would say even if your collection is much larger, just narrow it down to like your top 10 or your top 20, and then seriously, set the timer and go. So, okay, here are my top 5. Now, one of them was a no-brainer, and I'm sure if any of you have been on my channel for any length of time, you already know what this deck is, and that is my Everyday Witch Tarot. I just feel like I shouldn't even talk about this deck anymore because I've talked about it so much and I don't want to put anyone into a coma, but yeah, it's my soul deck. I love it. I love everything about it. And it's always been there for me, you know. She's always been there and she's so reliable and she's a friend and she can be a bitch too, but you know, in a good way, in a way that's caring. So yes, this of course was an easy pick, the only easy pick. And then what do we have next? And these are in no order, by the way, except for I guess Everyday Witch. That was, yeah, that's the first. The rest of these, okay, let's go with this one. The Naked Heart Tarot. This one kind of surprised me and yet, you know, and not. I mean, obviously I have this deck for a reason. It's because it is awesome, but some of you might already know that animal decks are not typically my thing just because I don't use them often. Even though I love animal art and I love animals, but this for me feels different. And I don't know that I can even articulate exactly what it is about this deck, but I don't know, I just love the simplicity of it. You know, you have the white background juxtaposed with kind of these, the bold central image of each card. And I think this deck just gives me such wonderful and immediate intuitive hits. And so I feel like this is not a deck that I have to know, you know, what animals necessarily symbolize in certain cultures, or it's just so natural for me to work with it. And so, yeah, this is one that I saved from a burning house. The next deck is the Star Tarot, which I have modified this deck. I've trimmed off all the borders and edged the deck in rainbow colors. This is a mix of different systems, RWS and Thoth, I believe. I just I'm all about how vibrant this deck is, and I feel like I've said this before, this deck is over the top, and that's exactly what I love about it. It's just, it's so inviting and colorful, and I love the animal depictions in this deck as well. So it has a lot of beautiful animals in it, and yet I wouldn't call it an animal deck. And it's just, yeah, I remember the month that I spent working with this. I just loved it so much. So this is not so much a surprise. Next one is the Sun and Moon Tarot. As you can see, I've modified this deck. It's become a little mini deck because I chopped off the titles, the borders, and I love it. Love it, love it this way. This is a Thoth-based deck, and so the Thoth keywords were a bit distracting for me, being as I know virtually nothing about Thoth. And since being rid of those keywords, I have had no problems with this deck. It's an easy reader, and it's the imagery, again, love the art of this deck. This is a deck that I pull out in colder weather, actually, when I want to escape to a sunny, beachy, deserty daydream. This is the deck for that. And last but not least, we have the Lightseers Tarot. And this isn't really a surprise for me either, this one, because this is the deck I'm working with this month. And so I love it. I'm so in love with it. It's given me such good readings so far, and this deck just resonates with me. I've connected with it so instantaneously, and you know, this card, this has started to really creep me out, this card. I know a lot of people think this guy's sexy, and at first I thought so too, but now I just no. Anyway, yeah. Amazing. Of course, once again, the imagery is fantastic. Love the green edging. And this is one of the few modern decks that I have. Those are my top 5 decks that I apparently can't live without. And given that I put a lot of pressure on myself, gave myself 20 seconds to quickly decide, I think I have a good mix here. I mean, I have my soul deck, I have an animal deck, a modern deck, and a couple Thoth-inspired decks, so not too bad. I hope you enjoyed this VR, and I look forward to seeing more VRs to this tag. It's a lot of fun, and I'm so excited to be participating in it instead of just lurking and watching. So if you have a VR to this tag or video, let me know. Do link it below. If you guys do not have channels, you can still participate. List your top 5 in comments below. Link your, Instagram or your Facebook, whatever platform you are going to use to participate. I would love to see your choices. So thank you once again for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.